Hello, it is a new month. Let's dive into it. I'll try to get this done quickly. I'm currently filming on the 29th of May, so yeah, this will come out in the early week of June anyway. No one will really care. It's not going to come out the first weekend of June. It might. Just realised I could. If I'm free enough, it'll come out and shoot on the Sunday. Anyway, hello. What do we start this month off with? We started off with, oh my god, Godzilla King of the Monsters? Mother of God. The 2019 film. I don't know why I watched this. I think I gave it 2 stars. It's one of those films that, for me, I watch more and more, and the more I watch it, the more and more I hate it. I don't hate it, I just dislike more and more about it. It's the only MonsterVerse film I really would like to kind of avoid in future. I think it's just because my friends, Phil and Katie, love this film. And, I mean, sure, if it's your cup of tea, it's your cup of tea. But for me, it's like, I liked it when I first watched it because I was in Japan when it came out, in Toho cinemas. It was all like a whole, holy shit, great way to immerse yourself into the country. I know it's an American film, but still. But since then, it's like, I get more and more annoyed by the characters and the dialogue and then the visuals and how ugly I love the creatures, but I hate how they look, how it's visually shot. It's just an ugly looking film with so many particle effects in the way, and I can't see shit. And it's just so ugly, and there's so much happening, and so many of the characters suck. Like, basically any of the main characters show up. Actually, just any human. I don't think there's any human in this film I actually like except for Ken Watanabe. And the girl who's actually a Mothra twin. That I find really funny because you can't tell the difference except that one has long hair and they don't really emphasize it too much. Like, they kind of do, but they kind of don't. It's a bizarre film. Not my favorite. Watched it on 4K. It's still, why not? But it's one of those films that's gone from 3.5 down to 2 stars. That's saying a lot. On the 2nd, I watched 20 Million Miles to Earth. I gave it 4 stars. I'm not going to dive too heavily into these because I am doing a reviewing of all of my Ray Harryhausen films, hopefully all the ones that exist. So I will be doing a separate video for all of that. Gave it 4 stars. I liked it. Then on the 3rd, I watched Secretary. I kind of wish I hadn't bought this. I had bought it a couple months ago, Play Music DVD. Imprint has announced that they've got their own version that has new audio commentary, and the artwork looks great, and it's like so much better looking than the version I have, which is the standard American release. But even the standard American release, the transfer looks nice. I think there's an audio commentary, but there is like some behind the scenes featurettes which are fine. I liked the film. I gave it 4 stars. I enjoyed it. It was not what I expected. You expect with it being Secretary, it's a really raunchy, 50 Shades of Grey-esque, and it's like, no, actually, it's a really pivotal, like, character drama about, like, traumatic experiences. It's really bizarre. Like, it's really well done. It's a fantastic film. It's obviously very horny, but also, rightfully so. On the 3rd, I watched The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms. I gave it 2.5 stars. Again, a Harryhausen. On the 4th, for my mate's birthday, we watched They Live. I gave it 4.5 stars. It was actually the first time I showed it to Helene because it happened to be that my mate Phil, for his birthday, screened it at a cinema that now only screens roadshow films, which is the one that I went to his birthday for last year, my own birthday last year, my 25th. And my mate's birthday, but you can't select your own films now. It's just whatever they have in that catalogue of like 10,000 films, which sucks. So, and it's not a great print. So, yeah, it was fun to watch it with a crowd, but it's also like, of all the Carpenters, I would have gone with like Big Trouble in Little China, but they didn't have it available, so it's like, well, okay, I guess this is what we're given. Like, again, his birthday, his choice, but like, if I had chosen the Carpenter, it would have been different. He would have agreed. Anyway, but yeah, 4.5 stars. It was great. I went straight home that night and was just like in the mood to watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This is the first time I've given it 5 stars. I've only ever given it 4 stars before, and this time I'm just like, this is it. This is perfection of cinema. I loved it so much. Pissed my brother off because he got home and he's like, oh, why'd you have to watch a 3-hour-long movie? I want to watch a TV show. I only had an hour left at that stage, but I fucking loved it. What a wonderful film. It's the kind of film that I can Snapchat stuff about it to my mum, because she loves it as well, and she'll watch it like the next day, or in a couple of days' time, because she fucking adores this movie as well. It's crazy. She's really big on the Sharon Tate stuff, so that was impactful for her. So, yeah. Also, it's great watching it seem like, look, there's Elvis, there's Sydney Sweeney, there's like all these other actors from other films that like are now much bigger than they were when this film came out. It's crazy. Yeah, define Nepo Baby kind of stuff, you know? On the 5th, I did a double feature of Mermaids. Gave it 3.5 stars. I've had the DVD for a couple of years. It's my parents. I've watched it a couple of years back with them. I like it. It's a fun film. I'm not huge on, how do I say it, the pregnancy subplot, but the rest of it I think is great. But yeah, it's a one of those just feel-good movies that I imagine I'll appreciate more and more as I watch it and as I grow older, and probably give it more and more stars as it goes on. But yeah, I gave it 3.5 this time. It probably deserves more. On the same night, I watched It Came From Beneath the Sea, which I gave 3 stars. Again, a Harryhausen. Let's move on. On the 6th, I watched Earth vs. Flying Saucers. I gave it 3.5 stars. I'm liking these films so far, so let's go on to the next one. We got Pirates of the Caribbean: Dead Man's Chest. I don't know. I watched the first one a couple years back. I've watched it numerous times. I adore these films, or at least the trilogy. And I was just like, I've seen the first one so many times. The last time I watched it, I got the 4K, and it looked like shit. So I sold that and bought the Blu-rays instead, like the better Blu-rays that have all the special features, the double disc versions. Anyway, rewatched this one because I was just in the mood for it. And I think because I'd watched It Came From Beneath the Sea, I'm like, I need more like tentacle monsters in my movies, and not the hentai type, just the regular type, like Cthulhu like. And yeah, I like the film. It's still 3.5 stars. It does drag, and the ending kind of sucks. It's iconic, but it sucks. But the rest of it I really like, and I love Davy Jones. There's so much. The set pieces are really fun. It doesn't capture the magic of the first one, but I like how it develops the world more. It's really nice, and visually it looks stunning. On the 7th, I watched The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad, which I gave 4.5 stars. Again, Harryhausen, so we'll go to the next film. We've got Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. Gave it 3.5 stars. Gave it 3 stars last time. Again, it's very long and bloated, and this is like with headphones on, so I'm not disturbing anyone in the household. And it's like, it is just something. Like, you really can't watch the second one without the third one. It's the real suffering, because the third one immediately is like, oh, you know how Jack died? Yeah, he's back. It's like, none of it matters. There's no consequences to any of the actions that happen in these movies. But as a set piece wise and like visually, again, I think the second one for me, I prefer. But I do love the third one. I'm always back and forth, you know? The second one's probably still better, realistically. But yeah, the first one's obviously the best, and despite my being mid-subpar on the fourth one, because I never really disliked it, but I can understand why people do, I'm not going to watch it again. The fifth one I'm never going to see again. That's the only movie. That's one of the few movies I've seen where I've wanted to walk out of the cinema whilst watching it. It was atrocious. But I haven't watched those recently, so let's move on. On the 8th, I watched Tank Girl. I gave it 3 stars. Go check out my Anatomy of a Blu-ray, where I dived into the whole film and all its special features from the Umbrella Limited Edition set. Really fun set. Pretty fun movie as well. I did a triple feature that night. I also watched Escape from the Planet of the Apes. Wonder if this is foreshadowing. Gave it 3 stars. Really liked it. I've seen now all of these. You'll see in a second. I'd seen this one before a couple of years back. The first one I've watched 3-4 times now. The second one I've watched twice. The second one is probably the worst one, because the first half is just a boring rehash of the first film, but then the second half is the craziest shit you've ever seen. So it's like, maybe it's not the worst one, maybe Battle for the Planet of the Apes, but still, that should have been its own. I should have done a video on that, but who fucking cares? And yeah, so I wanted to rewatch Escape so I could do the trilogy of Escape, Conquest, and Battle. And Escape, 3 stars. I enjoy it despite it being like cheaper, but I do like how it's like contemporary. What if apes from the future came to Earth? It's like, how crazy of a concept is that? I love it. The opening is fantastic. It's a hell of a picture. I again followed that up with Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, which I had never seen before. I gave it 3.5 stars. I watched the unrated cut, which is such a fucking so much better than the theatrical cut. I watched elements of the theatrical cut that were different, especially the final scene, realizing what they did, and I'm like, oh my god, that's not good, because when you watch it, the theatrical cut, you realize that's the ending that they have to go for the next movie, and that's not great, because in the unrated cut, they're like, Caesar's like, I'm gonna genocide the humans, fuck these guys, they've screwed us for too long, slavery bad, gonna kill them, and it's like, oh shit, that's really dark. But then in the theatrical cut, he kind of says that, and then the girl is the first ape to say no. She's the one who says no. They never really talk about that. Like, they make it a big moment, like in the third film, where it's like, oh, one day there was this ape, it stood up and it said no, and it was like a defining moment. But if you watch the unrated cut of the fourth film, there is no defining moment. And then you realize it was a re-edited thing, so you're like, so she, in context, is the first ape to say anything, but when you get to the next movie, they don't talk about it. They then talk about, oh, there's this ape that stood up and said no. But again, it's almost like it's become more of a metaphor rather than an actual ape saying no. So that's really interesting. Like, it's a bizarre thing. You watch the theatrical cut of the fourth one, oh, look, the ape does say no, and Caesar is like, actually, maybe we should be a bit more peaceful and try to live peacefully with them in this, 80-yard, monologue. And then, of course, I gave that 3.5. I enjoyed it. Cut to the next day, which I watched Battle of the Planet of the Apes. Sorry, Battle for the Planet of the Apes. My god, Escape from, Conquest of, Battle for, Mother of God. I gave it 2.5 stars. I think it's the weakest link because it plays off of the theatrical cut of the previous film, again, where she says no, and he's like, okay, we'll live harmoniously with humans. Well, guess what? There was a nuke that went off, so it doesn't matter anyway. It's a really kind of dull film. I think this is why it's the weakest one, because it's a poor ending. It's still an okay film for what it is, but it's easily a film that could have been so much more adventurous if it wasn't so low budget. I like elements of it, but it ain't great. But I'm okay with it. Again, 2.5 stars. I didn't give it a like. I was like, it's kind of okay. Anyway, on the 10th, I did another triple feature because I had the day off of work. So I saw The Cat and the Canary from 1927. I watched the new Eureka version. This is the original version of the film, so not like either of the remakes. And I gave it 3.5 stars. It's an interesting film. It's a concept I've basically seen before. The whole, you're gonna inherit this haunted mansion, and it turns out it's not maybe actually haunted, but there's some other hijinks going on. It's kind of Scooby-Doo-esque. I've seen this play out before. The unique part of it would be the characters and the acting for a silent film. And, of course, because of its silent film, the intertitles, which are really interestingly done. They're the most unique intertitles, which is when you splice in a text box kind of thing, if you don't know what they did in silent movies. This one has the most there's one whole thing where I think someone screams at someone, and it has all the letters scroll up or whatever, like it's a Japanese movie or something. It's crazy. That's the most unique part about the film. The rest of it's it's fine. I've heard that James Whale did it was one of his favorite films, and he did the Old Dark House, which I still haven't seen yet. I'm sorry. I have the Blu-ray, and it's basically the same movie. It's just a comedy, So yeah, I didn't watch Civil War because it was $12 at Hoyt's, and I've been wanting to watch it for a while because, of course, I do like Alex Garland. I gave it 4 stars. I think what it does is really interesting. There's a really gruesome scene in the middle, which is heartbreaking to say the least. But I do think it's really interesting. It could have definitely dived more into what the politics are and everything. I mean, there's a lot of the apolitical angle that doesn't work for me. The lack of context for the audience as to what exactly happened and what is going on. But as a character journey, as a story about war journalism, I think it's very good. So, yeah. There you go. I can understand why people hate it, but I can understand why people like it. It's like Men. I can understand why people hate it, but I liked it. I've liked all of his work so far, so... Anyway, I then watched Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. I was meant to see this with my mate Guy. For the 3 days leading up to it, he got, the flu, so he didn't get to see it. I don't think he's seen it yet. It's been a couple weeks. I watched it with Dad instead. I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed it. It's a bit long, but... it's a very interesting film because I do like the previous trilogy that's come out before it. and it's got a different angle to it. I think maybe on rewatch I might like it more because there's a lot of character stuff. There's a lot of world building that they have to do. I like was it Proxima Caesar, the villain? He's great. The main character's not bad. It'll be interesting to see where they develop this world. But yeah, it definitely had a lot more references to the original Planet of the Apes, which I really liked, both musical cues and like some visual props. So I'm interested to see if they actually are leaning it to be like a complete, oh, we're going to become like the original film. I don't think they will, because that's kind of stupid, but I'd like to see what they do, because it's meant to be a trilogy. So yeah, on the 11th, I went to the Cinemaniacs. We watched Mummy Dearest. I loved it. I gave it 4.5 stars. Just an insane movie, insanely hilarious. I think that Faye Dunaway is terrific in it. It's one of those, like, again, love it or hate it, Razzie movies. So, if you don't like Showgirls, I don't think you'll like this. I like Showgirls, except for the one part where it becomes way too much by the end of it. But this film I really, really enjoyed. And, Kaylin presented it, and it was great. Just a wonderful night all around. And then Roger Corman died, so I watched House of Usher. I believe it's the Arrow version. I gave it 4 stars. I hadn't seen it before, and I was like, I gotta watch these. God, I've had this Vincent Price set that Arrow did for like a couple years now, because I really like Vincent Price. I just haven't watched all of his movies. And yeah, I really liked it. I liked. It's a bit too slow in terms of how the story develops, but I do like the set design and the acting and just kind of how crazy it is. The final act is ridiculous, but I love it. Gothic horror kind of stuff. A type of horror I want to like more, but I'm taking too long to really love it, and I don't know why. So half the time when I watch a horror film, when I find out it's Gothic horror, I'm like, it could either make or break it for me. Yeah, because I need to be in like the right mindset for a Gothic horror, but I really liked it. Then I watched The Three Worlds of Gulliver, which I gave 2.5 stars. Again, part of my Ray Harryhausen, so I'll move on to the next film, which was The Pit and the Pendulum, because I figured, look, I should watch this one as well, for Corman's sake. I gave it 4 stars as well. I don't know which one I prefer of the two. I think I prefer Pit and the Pendulum because I love how crazy it goes, how it has all the trapdoors and the secret rooms and all of this and all of that. It's just, there's so much really fun stuff to it, and I really love Vincent Price in the film. There's the main characters are let down, the classic, the wooden plank of a romantic interest who wants things to go in a different direction. I'm like, I don't give a shit about you, but the rest of the film's great, So then I watched Mysterious Island, which again, another Harryhausen. I gave it 3.5 stars. I liked it, so let's move on to the next film, which was Jason and the Argonauts. Gave it 4.5 stars. Really liked it. Another Ray Harryhausen, so let's move on. I don't know when the Harryhausen video is going to come out. I've still got Valley of Gwangi. I did these all in chronological order of release, but I still have Valley of the Gwangi left. Currently, Clash of Titans, which I'm probably going to watch today or tomorrow. The other one is his King Kong movie, but the one that isn't actually Kong. I need to find that. I don't know where it is. Hopefully Internet Archive, but we'll see. On the 15th, I also watched Streets of Fire, which I gave 4 stars. I'm like, this film is crazy. It looks stunning. It's got amazing sequences. It is just bizarre as well as great and weird. And I got to watch that Patrick H. Willems video talking about it, because luckily it came out just after I watched it. So thank God. Perfect timing me. Watch the 4K. Looks fantastic. Sounds fantastic. I was in a mummy mood then, so I watched The Mummy from 1999, because I have the 4K and I want to rewatch it, because I haven't seen it for such a long time. It's a bizarre film for me, because I remember watching the second half of this a lot as a kid, but never the first half. I always forget that he was, like, locked up in prison and whatever, so I never remember any of that stuff. I remember from them basically getting to the tomb onwards, so it was almost like a completely fresh experience for me. But I can understand why I didn't watch it as much as a kid, because it was a bit too scary with the people getting sucked dry and the scarabs and that kind of stuff. That stuff terrified me as a kid. But I loved it. 4 stars. Really enjoyed it. The 4K looks tremendous. Sure, the visual effects are dated, but they are consistent. And that's one thing you can say about dated films. As long as the visual effects aren't like really bad in this scene, but then really good in that scene, if they're all the same, I like it. It's got a style, Because then I watched The Mummy Returns, and that's a very different movie, which is so much worse. It is crazy how this is just Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but like not directed by Spielberg. But that movie as it is, I'm still ho hum. I like the first half, hate the second half. But The Mummy Returns, on the other hand, I gave it 2.5 and a like. What the fuck? Why did I give it a like? I guess I must have enjoyed it. I mean, I do enjoy the film. It's not a good film, but it's like I enjoy it. Again, I guess same as Crystal Skull. It's campy as shit. I loved it as a kid, and I think because, of course, one of the main characters is a kid, I'm a bit more annoyed by him now, but I don't really mind that much. It's just that there's so much happening. The fact that it's The Mummy Returns, but then he's not really actually that important. It's about the Scorpion King, but even then the Scorpion King isn't that important. So a lot of the stakes kind of but I like the pygmy stuff. There's a lot of effect stuff I do like. There's the Scorpion King, which I don't like. So it's a movie that's not great, but it's fine. Again, I gave it 2.5 stars. Rachel Weisz is fantastic in these movies. And, of course, Brendan Fraser. Not Fraser. Fraser. Anyway, still a decent cast. But I hate the stuff where it's like, oh, you've had this tattoo that wasn't in the previous one, but now it's technically canon. So you're meant to be a hero. And he's like, I'm not a hero type. I'm like, what do you mean? You just saved the world in the previous movie. Shut the fuck up. It's like this was meant for a different film, this whole script, Same goes with the fact that they're not in tombs as much. I love that about the first one. I hate that about the second one, that they're not in caves and stuff. Like, it's Egypt to do it. Ugh, how hard is it? And I'm not huge on the flashbacks for Rachel Weisz's character. I like it. I'm just not huge on it. Like, visually it's nice. The action scenes are a bit iffy, but, sure, whatever. Who didn't have a crush on her as a child? I mean, I did. I mean, you could have been a teenager watching this and you'd be like, holy shit, Rachel Weisz. She's still amazing. Then I watched, on the 17th, I did a triple feature of Mad Max 2, 5 stars on the 4K, looks amazing. Mad Max 3, Beyond Thunderdome, gave it 2.5 stars. I like it. I don't like the middle Peter Pan stuff. Cut out that and the rest of the movie, I think it's fine. I like the start of it, like the first Thunderdome stuff, everything that basically leads up to Thunderdome, fun. The Thunderdome itself, okay. Peter Pan stuff, But then the train sequence, really fun. So, it's not great. I do like Tina Turner, though, so that's pretty good. And the music numbers are pretty good. And then, of course, I watched Fury Road, again, 5 stars. Would I say Fury Road is better than Road Warrior? No. I still think Road Warrior is the best one. Just because it's got the most dynamic nature to it, and it's just such a crazy film. But, of course, so is Fury Road, and I love Fury Road, so, yeah. That's why I was so happy to rewatch The Road Warrior. I watched it back in, December, and I was just like, I don't really want... That's why I didn't watch the first one again, because despite getting the 4K of that as well, I'm like, I don't love the first one as much. I do like it, but I would prefer to watch 2, 3, and 4, so I can have a defined idea as to if I like Thunderdome or not. But yeah, so... But the second one looks great on 4K, so I was like, fuck it, it looks great. I'll watch it, why not? On the 18th, I watched The Iron Claw. I gave it 4 stars. I watched it with my partner. Again, this is one of those, wanted to watch it in cinema. I was in cinema for such a small period of time that we missed the window. And my God, this movie is tragic as hell. And knowing that the real story is even more tragic is crazy. It is exceptionally well acted. It's bizarre that Zac Efron looks like Lord Farquaad. It does trip me out a little bit, but the movie is really tragic but beautifully made. One of those really amazing biopics that even if you don't know the people or don't give a shit about sport or wrestling, I'm all 3 of those. This is a good drama as an all-rounder. So yeah, I didn't expect a lot of what would happen, but then when it happened, it just kept happening. I'm like, what is happening to this family? Stop! Holy shit! So good film, 4 stars. On the 19th, I was like, I gotta get back into the Criterion Channel. I wasted a whole month of not watching anything. So I watched what I wanted to be a comedy, The Apartment. The Apartment's not really a comedy. It's the kind of comedy that's like Shakespeare. It's like a tragedy with comedic elements, It is a beautiful film. Harrowing, amazingly written, amazingly directed, amazingly performed. It's such a beautiful film. It's one of those, when I looked at it thinking, how did everyone give this 5 stars? And I'm like 20 minutes in, I'm like, this isn't a 5-star movie. It's pretty good, but it ain't that great. By the end of it, I'm like, oh my god, I'm going to cry. It's one of those, takes you on a journey and just, almost pushes you off a rooftop. Just grabs you at the last second. It's beautiful. I highly recommend The Apartment. Wonderful film. It's on the Criterion Channel, which was good. On the 20th, I did another double feature. I watched First Man in the Moon, which is another Harryhausen, so we'll move on. I gave it 3 stars. I enjoyed it. It was good. So let's move on to Hell or High Water, which Rodney had suggested because I bought that other film. I can't remember what it's called. Wind River, sorry. I bought that, same guy, Taylor Sheridan. Different director, but he did write it, and he wrote Sicario. I like Sicario. Hell or High Water, I gave 4.5 stars. I really like this film. It looks amazing. It sounds amazing. It is just so excellently written and captivating, and such a beautiful, like, Western. Really, really good film. I highly recommend it. The Blu-ray is pretty good too. It has some nice special features to it. Again, not a lot of stuff, but it's not bad. It's a good, but again, 4.5-star film. Fucking good shit. On the 21st, I watched 1 Million Years BC, which, again, another Harryhausen. I gave it 3 stars. I liked it. Let's move on. I then jumped on the Criterion Channel again and watched The Hidden Fortress because I had 2.5 hours to spare. And, I've never seen the Kurosawa film before. I gave it 4.5 stars. I'm like, holy shit, this movie's really good. Obviously, it's really good. It's Kurosawa. It's a samurai film. It inspired Star Wars, which is crazy because I'm watching it like, oh my god, this is just Star Wars. And then it became its own thing, and I became so much better because of it. It's already good when it's, like, clearly what Star Wars ripped off, or at least I should say inspired by, realistically. But yeah, after that I was like, oh, this shit's really good. So, but yeah, no, Hidden Fortress was really good. I definitely would recommend it. I'd recommend most Kurosawa samurai films anyway, or just most Kurosawa films, so, yeah. I watched it on my laptop, which really annoyed me because it's really widescreen. It's like Toho scope, which was like the first time they did it, and so it's just black bars top and bottom, and it just doesn't work on a laptop screen. And I'm like, this sucks. I wish I watched this on even my TV or in a cinema. This would be an amazing theatrical film. It was just such a stunning looking movie. Highly recommend it. Then I watched Wind River, which I gave 3.5 stars, and I feel like 3.5 might be a bit much, but at the same time, it's still well acted. It's still pretty well shot. It's a compelling enough mystery. It's really a lot like True Detective Night Country. I knew I'd seen part of this before because that's why I wanted to buy it when I saw it at JB. I was like, oh, I remember this film being really good. I thought I watched the second half of it. Turns out I literally only had seen the final act, which is it's the best part of the film. But without any context, it still is a fantastic, really tense, beautifully shot and captivated and set up sequence. The flashback maybe not completely necessary for a lot of obvious reasons. There's a lot of implied measures that when you see this film that precedes that, you're like, I kind of already knew this happened. I don't need this visually. Sure, it adds more tragedy to it, and that's probably a necessity almost, especially because these are Weinstein films, which is crazy. Yeah, I still think it's still really well acted. Elizabeth Olsen's character doesn't really need to be there. You usually have the FBI character that come in because they're the audience surrogate, but then the main character isn't her and she doesn't have any development. So it's just like, what the hell's the point of a character? And then the main character is Jeremy Renner. It's it's one of those white guy should be a Native American guy kind of character. He's married into the Native Americans, and yeah, it's sure, there's a lot of reality to such a thing existing. Maybe it's because we need a bigger named and faced person to sell more tickets. Sure, and he's fine in the role and he does a good job, but yeah, it's one of those. It could have been, Also, I don't think the director Taylor Sheridan, who wrote the film, obviously who wrote Sicario and Hell or High Water, I don't think he's a good director. Yeah, I know he did do 1883, which I've heard is quite good, but everything else that he's done outside, in terms of directing, has been pretty subpar. He's also written most of what he's directed as well. He didn't direct Sicario 2, but Sicario 2 is kind of not great, so, I'd say one-hit wonder, but again, Hell or High Water is really good. So yeah, and again, I've heard 1883 is really good as well. So yeah. And I was in the Western mood, so I put on Stagecoach, which was part of the Criterion I got. And it is a beautiful film. I gave it 4.5 stars. There's not really much I need to say about this. It revolutionizes the genre because, of course, it's John Ford. It looks amazing. There was some insane stunt work in it. Yeah, it's just one of those really captivating films that just keeps you on board the whole time. I know that's almost a pun, but not really. But yeah, it was good. I really enjoyed this film. Then on the 23rd, I watched Furiosa. I gave it 4 stars. I really enjoyed watching it. It is a bit long, but at the same time, I love how it's just them just being like, hey, look, we're basically remaking doing the first one again, but in this whole new post-apocalyptic world, we're going to expand the lore and show you how crazy things are in the politics of the wasteland. I'm like, this is some fun stuff. I really liked it, so I'm interested to watch it again, but probably not anytime soon. On the way home, I found out that Lee Gambon had passed away, so that made for a hell of a night. On the Friday, I went out and got Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Okay, so I'm going to try and keep a straight face for this. I rewatched Halloween 3, Season of the Witch in honor of Lee, because he did a commentary track for it. It was a very recent release from Via Vision, which I wasn't going to get, but because he did the commentary on my favourite Halloween film, I kind of, I also got Firestarter, but I haven't seen that one yet. I gave the film 5 stars. I love the film as it is, and his commentary was really good. The next night we watched Silkwood, which was in honor of Lee because he was meant to present it. It's his type of movie. It's good. I gave it 4 stars. I really liked it. It's a good drama. It's a good social commentary film as well. I definitely recommend it. Yeah. She has great timing, doesn't she? You can hear her, Indigo barking. Anyway, let's on the 27th, because I had a long weekend of filming and everything, and I've been getting back into The Shield, which I've been enjoying. Finished the 3rd season. I'm on to the 4th season. I watched The Golden Voyage of Sinbad, which again is for the Harryhausen watch. I gave it 3.5 stars. I'll leave that for that video. And same as the next night, which I watched Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger, which I gave 2 stars, which I'll be talking in my Harryhausen video. I've also watched a couple episodes of season 3 of The Simpsons, because why not? I don't think there's any other shows. Oh, Evil's back! Sorry, Evil came out like the day on the Friday, and it was like not a great time to watch it. But when I got home on the Saturday, Doctor Who, fucking Doctor Who. Oh my god. Evil, good. Watch Evil, amazing show. I think the first 2 seasons were on Netflix. The 3rd and 4th are on Paramount Plus. The whole thing's on Paramount Plus. Go watch it. Beautiful show. 4th season is the last season. Best time to watch it is now. Doctor Who is interesting. I liked the first episode with the space babies. It was fun. The second episode, I wasn't huge on the Maestro one. There's elements to it that I really like, but I don't like the direction with the gods and and if you don't stop this, I don't like that kind of stuff. It's stupid to me because it's a universe that will obviously keep continuing. They're not going to destroy the canon by literally having one person destroy everything. It's not going to happen. I've seen The Master and that storyline and how they tied that off, so I'm like, I know they're not going to continue. Like, they're not actually going to have it be a serious thing. And as a second episode, I thought it was a bit, I didn't like it that much, but I think I might like it a lot more on rewatch. Space Babies, on the other hand, probably not. The 3rd episode I did like. The Boom was really fun, and the 4th episode was really interesting. I'm keen to see what else comes out for the season, but so far not bad. I'm interested to see how the rest of it goes. I don't like it how it's so short. It's annoying, and I'm watching it with my brother and his girlfriend. But yeah. Anyway, let's cut to what else I watched this month. Um, sorry, I didn't actually watch anything else except for Godspell, which I again, because of Lee passing, it was one of his favorite films. It was one of his ones that he urged me to watch a couple years back, got me the Blu-ray for it and everything. And this is the third time I've watched it because I watched it back in like 2022. I gave it 3.5 stars. I then watched it like 2 days later with the commentary that he did, which is really a wonderful commentary. So this time around, I just wanted to watch the film again just to kind of enjoy the vibe and feel of the musical. I'm not even a religious person. It just reminded me of him, and I wanted to just watch it for that reason. Yeah, but no, it's good. It's a weird film. It very much feels like the most theater kid troupe runs around New York and just sings about God. It is hilarious at times, but I think it's really beautifully done as well. It's one of those really fun, bizarre, like 70s musicals that it's like Fame in a way. If you don't like the style of how Fame's narrative runs, you won't like Godspell, but I think they'd make for a great double feature. So, yeah, I don't know. Check it out for sure. If you can get the Blu-ray, I'd suggest it because Lee's commentary is beautiful. So, yeah. And then I just kind of finished the month watching the second episode of Evil. Second episode? Yeah, of season 4, which was pretty fun. And I've been watching The Simpsons. I just whipped out the DVD of season 3, just been jamming out episode upon episode upon episode because I got a colleague who quotes so many episodes and he does a perfect Homer Simpson impression. It's insane. But I mean, look, when you've got 20 odd years of TV to kind of like, learn from, even though he doesn't watch most things after like season 15, I think, probably. So yeah, but no, The Simpsons has been really fun. Just something to just get my mind off of things because it's been a really, really tough week. Yeah, I didn't get around to watching Clash of the Titans either, but that Harryhausen video I've started filming, and I just need to watch the last 3 films. Somehow find Mighty Joe Young, which was the one I mentioned that I thought that I said it was a King Kong ripoff, but anyway, I know it isn't, but still, um, yeah, I gotta get around to watching that. So, and Valley of Guanji, which I'll get from the Cinemaniacs tomorrow, the Saturday, and watch Clash of the Titans. So, yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you're all doing okay. And I will see you guys next month with more stuff that I watch because I just can't stop. Won't stop. Adios. Whoa.